concerns that the threat of more tariffs by the U.S. and its trade partners could cause a global recession. President Trump says China's facing an additional 50% tariff if it doesn't lift its counter tariffs on U.S. goods by the end of today. China's Commerce Ministry said in part, the U.S. threat to escalate tariffs on China is a mistake on top of a mistake and once again exposes the blackmailing nature of the U.S. China will never accept this. If the U.S. insists on its own way, China will fight to the end.
The California Department of Insurance could decide today whether to approve State Farm's emergency 22% rate hike request. A public hearing on the issue is held before an administrative law judge. It's happening in Oakland right now. The company says the increase is necessary due to the financial impact of the Los Angeles County wildfires, which destroyed thousands of homes. The rate hike is opposed by Consumer Watchdog. It says State Farm has failed to provide the minimum data required by law to show the need for an increase.
The State Farm had not, if they wanted to rely on variant 6, has not produced sufficient information as required by the variants, which requires, among other things, a plan to restore solvency and a plan to return excessive charges to policyholders.
Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara says he will decide whether to approve the rate increase based on evidence presented at today's hearing.
Right now, San Mateo County supervisors are working on their next steps to potentially remove the sheriff from office. KTVU's James Torres live in our newsroom here to explain what supervisors expect to happen today. James.
Well, county leaders will plan out a timeline on how to handle a vote to remove Sheriff Christina Corpus from office. But even with the planned schedule, supervisors say those dates, those times, and that whole timeline is subject to change.
A long-time conversation in San Mateo County continues. Supervisors working to determine what's next with Measure A, a voter-approved measure to give supervisors the power to remove Sheriff Christina Corpus from office.
And so the sheriff has due process. We're going to work through a process, be open-minded, be transparent, make sure as we move forward, we deliberate thoughtfully.
The sheriff facing allegations of abuse of power, corruption, and fostering a toxic workplace. She's denied any wrongdoing and has not been charged with any crimes. Her attorney says legal challenges are underway.
Measure A is designed for one purpose only, to remove Christina Corpus, the first Latina sheriff. Once they accomplish that, Measure A no longer is going to be in effect. That's not fair. That's singling out one person.
Supervisors are talking today to establish the next steps in executing Measure A. That includes deciding when the sheriff will have an opportunity to publicly defend herself to the board. Board President David Canepa says the public will need to offer patience.
The public thinks that this removal can happen within a week or 2 weeks. That's not the case. This is going to be something that will take a period of time. What that time is, I don't know.
But the sheriff's attorney says the board can't offer due process because some have already made public statements speaking against the sheriff. He says the entire process is already set up to be biased.
In our opinion, they were not fair, cannot be fair, and will not be fair. Of course, that's not due process. That's not equality, and that's not right.
It would take a 4/5 majority vote to oust the sheriff. If that happens, supervisors would then have to decide whether to appoint a new sheriff or hold a special election. But supervisors say it could be months before the process gets that far. Live in the newsroom, I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
James, thank you.